Hilary Clinton just warned us all that we're about to see a major Black Swan event. Oh, she just got her wish as early voting, of course, starts in a number of different states across the country. And the United States Postal Service just posting that we are 36 days until Election Day, and they have now suspended service to many of the zip codes due to this storm. In Georgia, 42 zip codes, North Carolina, 39 zip codes. These are all, of course, solid red areas, solid red states. So maybe your zip code is affected right here on the screen. Take a look. Yeah, USPS, done. So no service right now. And we banks out, cell phones out. So trying to get access to your banking information. Earlier, trying to log into Twitter using your cell phone, no good. Of course, they want to go after Twitter. They would love to take X down as quickly as they can.
Well, here's a little tip for that maybe people didn't know, is that you do use your cell phone for two-factor authentication for Twitter, and you should. But Twitter also allows you to download what they call backup codes that you can either print or put somewhere safe. Don't put it in the cloud. And then you can use that code if, for example, you can't get to your cell phone. So do that, because a lot of banking apps also allow you to download backup codes in the event you can't use your cell phone for two-factor authentication. Do it. It's worth doing it.
A lot of people in our chat saying Verizon down across Idaho, AT&T down across California, AT&T down in Northern California. So Verizon in Indiana not affected. But yeah, it's really a crapshoot right now. I mean, all across the country, different outages, different locations. So banks are out, cell phones are out. Well, we'll get back to that part of the story in a second. But first, hurricane damage. It's being called 100 Tennessee. Well, this weekend, good news, Middle East. You're getting Tennessee National Guard. You can't make this up. Tennessee National Guard Task Force has just been deployed to the Middle East.
What?
On Saturday.
The F word.
Yeah. So priorities for Tennessee and the National Guard from the Biden administration. I covered a couple of these 100-year floods when I was a young reporter in West Virginia, and down in Tazewell area, and all through Bluefield, West Virginia, where I lived for a number of years. And you having the National Guard be a part of that cleanup and recovery effort was essential for those areas to recover, to open roadways, to get trees unblocked from passages over bridges, to help communities get food and water. But let's go to the Middle East, because, we need to take care of Israel. We need to make sure Israel is taken care of.
Well, specifically the quote that we saw President Biden today saying over the weekend, saying, "We've given these flood victims all we have." That's never a phrase when it comes to war aid for Ukraine. Never.
No. In the same breath.
It's limitless.
In the same breath, I just approved $2.8 billion in addition to the $8 billion for Ukraine. And then when asked, which we'll get to here in a moment, do you have any additional resources for the victims in these 6 different states? No, we've given them enough.
That's finite. We hit the bottom of the barrel.
What he meant to say is, we've given them all we're going to. That's all you're going to get.
Yeah,
that's what happened to Lahaina, or wasn't it Lahaina? What was the Hawaii?
Yep. Yeah, in Maui. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we've heard this, this tune time and time again. So instead of mobilizing the National Guard to help in Tennessee, sent Tennessee National Guard into the Middle East. And on Saturday, the Biden administration sent an additional $8 billion to Ukraine. It's also sending thousands of more troops. We published this morning in the newsletter, thousands more troops are now being sent to the Middle East to help Israel as we speak. Why is that happening? Because, Netanyahu runs the show, of course, and is calling the shots. The White House is basically silent on the devastation because these are Trump voters. These are red areas. And even the front page of the New York Times, I mean, right now, go to the New York Times. This is the front page of the New York Times from about 30 minutes ago. Look at this. Tim Walz, all about Tim Walz. Here's what we're learning about Tim Walz, his old debates. Here's what we learned. It's all about big picture of Tim Walz. CBS experimenting with a novel way to offer real-time fact-checking of the vice presidential debate.
I'm sure they're going to do a great job.
Go down the page a little bit, and you get some Israel. Of course, you got to get some Israel, right? And then there's 3 stories on Israel. And who's on the right side there? Yeah, there's big opinion piece about there's your new commander-in-chief, the next president of the United States right there. That's the New York Times today. That's because Trump isn't president. It's because a Democrat is president. The New York Times, though, during Katrina, was happy to take the piss out of George W. Bush for that disaster. Here's the front page of the New York Times after Katrina. New Orleans inundated, and they use their large font as well. Inundated as 2 levees failed. Much of Gulf Coast crippled. Toll rises. That was just, here's another page of the New York Times. Look at this. Later in the day, hurricane slams into Gulf Coast. Dozens are dead. Front page. That's because Bush was president. Right now, Biden and Kamala Harris are president. So the New York Times is going to cover Tim Walz. That's how it works. It's kind of, it's shocking, not surprising at all. So right now, Florida says they've got it under control. Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, says we've got it under control. What really needs to be focused on, though, is Western North Carolina. So here's a governor of Florida, which has got hit brutally, saying we got it under control. We're dealing with it. Western North Carolina needs our help. It needs a federal response. Somebody better pay attention. Watch.
What I would say is the Florida, we have it handled. We got approved for the individual citizens, things we've wanted. We have what we need. Now, obviously, there may be additional things that we'll ask for in the future. It depends on how things shake out. But I think most of the effort should be in Western North Carolina right now, because you still have active rescues that need to take place. Just think about, it's almost like if this area were totally cut off and every road was destroyed and all this, but you can still get places by boat. There, you can't do that. You're in, and I just think they should really, the federal government should focus on that.
Yeah, so Western North Carolina, I hope the Biden administration maybe is paying attention to this. But so he was asked how many more resources these states will get, and he was pretty adamant about this, just asked by a reporter here on C-SPAN. Watch.
Are there any more resources the federal government could be giving them?
No, we have pre-planned a significant amount of it, even though they didn't ask for it yet. Hadn't asked for it yet.
Yeah, so they got enough. You guys got enough down there. But we're able to send $8 billion to Ukraine, help out our little troll boy Zelensky, send it to Israel. Because Netanyahu needs some more money, a country with a surplus and a space force in Israel and nuclear weapons. But we need to send American forces to the Middle East right now. We need to get them weapons over there in Israel. DC Drano posted this. Not a single tax dollar should be sent overseas until Americans in North Carolina have electricity and running water again. Put Americans first. I can't believe I even need to say this. Of course, the commenters slammed him and called him a Putin apologist. Idiots. I'm so sick of idiots. I'm just, you ever just wake up and you're like, I'm just so sick of idiots in this world?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like if I posted, we need to make sure that Maui is taken care of. People in Maui are taken care of. People in, East Palestine, Ohio are taken care of. People in Conyers, Georgia with a chemical fire taken care of.
Yeah.
The port strike, which is about to devastate the United States. We're going to get to that in a few moments here. But saying a message about sending billions of dollars overseas to Israel, the Middle East, and all of these other areas that we're sending money right now, put Americans first. Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad to know that people think like this, because sometimes I only speak to erudite people who study, who get to come on Redacted, people who have actually done the fucking homework. So I don't get a lot to talk to people who have not. I'm sorry for the F word, but I see some of the comments on my posts where people say, well, we have to, we can't let Putin go unchecked. Okay, so we went into wars in Vietnam, Nicaragua, Panama, Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, Yemen. We were wrong in every single one of those wars, but we still get to check people. You think that you're right about this one? You think that this one's different and you're getting it right this time? People literally say yes to that.
Bread and Circuses in our chat says, I'm sick of your Israel bashing. It's like, but they're fine with the Ukraine part. They have their total love of Israel. So you think it's okay while Americans are underwater right now that we can send billions of dollars and National Guard forces to the Middle East to help Israel? You're okay with that? It's like, I don't understand this sort of Israel first mentality. Look, fine. I'm an American, so I'm going to put America first. If you are Israeli, great, you should put your own country first. But don't ask me to put your country above mine. I'm not going to do it. And certainly when Americans are underwater right now, you can... Anyway.
Well, literally, this is what the Department of Defense said today, is that the United States will defend itself from Iran. We are not under attack by Iran. So they are trying to make you believe that you need to defend ourselves from a war we intend to start right now with Iran. And over the weekend, 57 Arab Muslim countries have unequivocally said that they will offer a peace deal to Israel, that they want no more fighting, and all they want in exchange is a Palestinian state and an end of the occupation, and they will offer Israel security. No one has to go to war. This happened in Iraq when Saddam Hussein said, we will have peace talks, but no one's listening because the people in charge want war. Study more and then come back to me with this Israel bullshit.
Yeah, and Ivan Reichland feels the same way. He's going to be up in a little bit here on the show on Iran. He's like, people are being duped by this Iran bullshit right now. So wake up, people. Don't fall for this false flag garbage. You know, they want us to be dragged into this war, and they want you to feel like a rallying point, like we need a new bad guy. So that's how we're going to go to war. I mean, in the Middle East right now, it's absolutely crazy. So don't fall for it. Anyway, meanwhile, we had this in Tennessee. 8 men, all migrants. So we're very concerned about other countries, but we're not concerned about our borders being wide open in the United States. 8 men, all illegal immigrants. Andy No calls them migrants. I'm not calling them migrants. He can call them migrants. They're all illegal immigrants, have been arrested for allegedly looting and burglarizing flood-ravaged victims in eastern Tennessee. They've been arrested now. Can you imagine? It's the United States right now. So to top it all off, in eastern Tennessee, something else is going on. Truckers now, multiple truckers reporting that their tires are being slashed on their routes, trying to bring supplies and other items across those borders into North Carolina, through eastern Tennessee. Listen to these truckers, all of their tires being slashed at different rest stops multiple times. Watch.
A friend of mine posted my last video on Facebook, so I'm just repeating it here on TikTok just to get the word out. TA in Denmark, Tennessee had 50 trucks with slashed tires. 50 trucks with slashed tires. That's on I-40 through Tennessee. Exit 126 in Holiday, Tennessee. The Loves had 5 trucks. One guy had 9 tires slashed. And exit 163 at the Loves in Dixon, Tennessee, there were 16 trucks with tires slashed. So if y'all are traveling through that area, avoid those truck stops. Try not to stay overnight in those truck stops, as for now. They've got authorities working on what's going on, and it's some kind of an activist group that is doing this. So y'all be careful and be safe out there.
Thanks to the truckers out there who work tirelessly. We have a lot of them who watch our show. So thanks to the guys out there who are spending those tireless hours on there. And some people saying here, flooded nuclear reactor in Irwin, Tennessee. Thanks to Bahai in our chat as well on Rumble. For that. So we're going to be watching this, and we'll see what the federal response is. It doesn't appear to be much from the federal. Don't worry, though. Kamala Harris, she's been on the phone. She's been on the phone being briefed. And, of course, people are calling the fact out. She said, I'm on the phone being briefed, and her headset wasn't even plugged into her phone. So anyway, posing for photo opportunities right now is what the Biden administration is focused on. So
excited to see what she does when she's fully briefed.
Yeah, and President Trump just landed in Valdosta, Georgia. I mean, he's limited. He's not a president of the United States at the moment, so he can go there and lend support and some aid, but he doesn't have the power of the purse. He doesn't have the power of emergency declarations and FEMA and other things like that to marshal resources. So he's there right now, but President Biden, he said apparently later in the week would maybe show up there. So we'll see if Biden shows up there.